Hi Sagittarius, this is your March 2020 reading. So if you're Sagittarius sun, rising or moon, it may resonate for you. It's a general reading. If you are enjoying it, please do drop me a like and a comment. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And if you'd like to connect with me, you can find all the ways to do that over on my website, romywyser.com. The link for that is in the description box below. Okay, Sagittarius, let's see what the conversation for March 2020 is for you. We're in Pisces season with a Mercury retrograde in your 4th house. Diving deep, I really have the sense for you in the first part of this month as you are coming to terms, I think, with the changing landscape and the impact of what you have announced to yourself, announced to others, and really just making a bit of an assessment as to whether it marries up to what you expected, what you anticipated, and kind of how you feel about that. So I think it could feel a little bit complex and very interesting in that time of self-evaluation. We open up your reading with the card of transformation, the card of death, linked in powerfully to that Scorpio energy. And I do think you are taking the time to kind of really go deeper. The 4th house is a very tender placement, right? It's ruled by Cancer. It's very nurturing. It's asking you to look at that emotional landscape within and make sure that the choices and decisions are really supporting that. I feel quite private with the energy as well. You know, Scorpio is very reserved, really wants to at times do the work on its own, and I think that there is going to be a need for many of you through this month of March, even if you felt a little bit more ready to step out and connect, to actually have some quiet you time, to pull back, to disconnect, and to really make sense of so much of kind of what you are now observing around you. And it isn't just about your journey. I feel like where you're heavily invested in what has shown up around you, Sagittarius, in terms of, you know, the key relationships and, you know, the goings on and how that's unfolded is really impacting you. And I think you might need to take some time as well just to process what that means and what that looks like, and how it may well affect some of the ways in which you're going to continue to move forward, because there are further changes and adjustments required, is what that card of death is indicating. You know, you've come to the end of a life cycle, and I do think that, you know, you're ready to start to explore what that powerful transit in Saturn meant for you. And Saturn moves out of Capricorn on the 22nd into the sign of Aquarius, just for a short time before we go back into retrograde later in this year. But in Aquarius, it's your 3rd house of communication. Now, Aquarius is a radical energy. It wants to be thought-provoking. It wants to do things differently. It wants to find a better way. And it's about how you communicate that. So 3 of Swords energy coming in is the release. You know, this is the kind of almost cleansing. I've got to the root cause with that Scorpio energy. I've been able to do the deep assessment. I've really allowed the forgiveness of self to come through. I've shed layers. I've done what's needed to be done. And now I have to a certain extent, like, surrender into the unfolding of some of that kind of ripple effect. And, you know, let's be honest, it can feel a little bit uncomfortable when we're in that very Piscean, Neptunian energy that's asking us to go so deep. And at times we feel like we're maybe getting pulled back into parts of ourselves or to situations or dynamics that we thought we dealt with, or we feel like should have come to a point of resolution. And in all honesty, they have. I don't think that you need to for 1 second feel like you're going backwards. You're absolutely not, Sagittarius. You know, this is a time when we are jumping forward, and actually as Mercury goes direct on the 16th, and then we come into the 20th where it's Aries season and the equinox, there is going to be this powerful rebalancing energy, and it comes into your 5th house. So by that point you're ready to kind of get back on the horse, so to speak. You're back with a sense of focus, a sense of diligence of what you're going to implement and why. I think you are standing strong for people around you. I have a sense, honestly, that Three of Swords could well be someone or something around you as well, Sagittarius. It may not be your pain that we're dealing with here or your wound. This could be something that you've tapped into or a situation you've very much been a part of, heavily invested in, and you're having to be the support. You're needing to be there as that really powerful anchor, that steadying influence, something that represents consistency and commitment and a sense of loyalty. And I think you're doing that for somebody through this month of March, Sagittarius. It's going to help you too, because I think it's going to give you a bit of purpose if you're feeling that some of those energies are just kind of pulling you under a little bit at times. I do think you are finding that grounded earth energy really positive in helping to determine the next step that you need to make. And I just kind of see you being quite a powerful thought leader and a powerful presence for many people who might still be kind of struggling. Okay, 2 cards just fell out there, so let's take 3 of Pentacles as your first one. And I think that it is about the way that you're starting to do things differently, the new foundations you're laying and putting in place. There is like a kind of feeling of a major overhaul that's coming in March, and it might not initially feel to you that it quite has the spring in the step that you were anticipating or expecting, but I don't want you to feel tricked into the thought process that isn't just around the corner, because I think it is. I just feel that it's gonna kind of show up and maybe take its time to reveal fully in the way that you are ready for. Okay, I think that this is a time when you are pulling together the right people and the right support infrastructure. I think you're incredibly creative this month, and retrograde is a beautiful energy for us to work with to really kind of empower us and activate that way of thinking. And in that 5th house, as we move into Aries season, you're ready to kind of really own that and do something meaningful and powerful and rich and exciting with it. And I think it's this desire to want to come together, to connect, to unite, to bond. But you know, there are choices to make, and I think for some of you those choices may come at a cost. What I mean by that is that, you know, it could feel that there is a sacrifice to make, and it may be just the absolute shedding and release of an old self. It may be that you need to move away from a particular group or particular connection or person or an environment that is not going to allow you to step forward fully into this energy and to give you the opportunity to focus and really start to commit and prioritize to something. And I think that you need that. I think you're really ready to get stuck into something and start to see how you can build it, how you can grow it. And that could just be, you know, representative of a relationship for some of you as well, or specifically to what you're doing in and around your work and career, or a change you want to make into the home or family. But you know, we have a full moon on the 9th in the sign of Virgo, a beautifully healing energy, Virgo, real earth energy, illuminating your 10th house, how you want to show up in the world, what your career ambitions are, what that long-term vision looks like. Perfect energy of the Knight of Pentacles coming in. It could be an earth sign that you're dealing with as well, Sagittarius, and even a Gemini coming in with the Lovers as well, that might be part of your situation and environment at the moment. But I think that full moon in Virgo is really activating like a deeper kind of need for you to get moving and get going and really put some focus and energy on the bigger picture. And again, this 8 of Swords, you see, I feel that this is kind of periphery around you a little bit. Don't get me wrong, I think there's some nervousness and maybe some doubt around whether you can actually realize that dream, if you have what it takes to make it come in. Perhaps there's been a couple of false starts somewhere, or something hasn't quite materialized, or the expectation hasn't been fulfilled yet.
But I also have this sense of some of you kind of being right in the fray of something through March that, you know, maybe even isn't really about you, but you're having to kind of deal with it at the same time as all of your own stuff. And that can be kind of difficult when we're going through a really powerful transition. You know, when these big planets like Saturn change signs, it can be quite unsettling. And even though there's a lightness ready to come in, you know, there's almost that kind of whiplash type energy that comes back to remind us of what we have been working on in the last 2 years. And if we're not careful, we can kind of trick ourselves into thinking, oh my God, I haven't done anything. It just doesn't feel like anything's moved forward. Or maybe you're seeing that playing out around those individuals that are part of your kind of circle. And I think that if that is the case, it's going to be difficult, but I think it's wholly necessary that you be very clear about where you're aligning your energy, because if you're not careful, that can derail you and kind of impede some of the progress that I think you're absolutely ready to make. So there could be some choices that perhaps feel a little bit difficult and challenging for you to have to make through this month of March, almost from a kind of place of self-survival, Sagittarius. But I don't want you to feel like you are in any way selling out or like not, you know, honoring like a commitment that you've made. I think you have to kind of be very present, going with the energy day to day. And if you start to see that people are struggling, but they're also not prepared to kind of do what's necessary despite your help, and if you've been showing up over and over again and it's just not making an impact, I do feel it's going to be the month where you're going to say, okay, time out, like, you know, I can't help you anymore at this point. I literally cannot do anything more for you, and right now I need to kind of retreat. I need to take some time for me. You know, Venus is moving into Taurus on the 5th into your 6th house, so it's very much about self-care. You know, you're looking to see, what do I have to implement to re-energize myself. You know, the month of February took a lot out of everybody. You know, a lot of stuff came to the surface, and I think that, you know, it was very cathartic for you, you know, but March is the continuation, a very catalytic month, and you are preparing yourself to take the inspiration, the ideas that are coming forward. And I think there is an offer coming your way. And I honestly feel that you're ready and that you want to take it, but I have some resistance. Something's holding you back, something, and maybe someone around you. And it's not that I want to kind of label them as like dead weight, but I do think that you have to be really clear and prioritize like what is going to be supportive of the evolution of your growth at the moment. And I think that you have to keep that in mind and not be dragged in or pulled back into too much drama around you. The offer that I see coming forward, I think, is going to give you the opportunity to really show something of yourself that perhaps up to this point you haven't been able to do. We've got Hanged Man energy coming in, which makes sense in Pisces season because we've got this very Neptunian energy that the Hanged Man is also connected to, and it's a beautiful sense of surrendering. For me, it's almost surrendering into the inevitability of what you're meant to be doing and the direction you're meant to be going in, okay? It will feel, perhaps for some of you, a bit stop-start, okay? Like all the signs and everything's coming through and you're like, okay, we're going, this is happening, and then all of a sudden another block comes up. Please trust in the energy and the way that it's flowing through this month of March, because it has absolute divine reasoning for doing so, okay? And it may be because you just need a little bit more time to clear out or to make some decisions about who's coming and who's not on this journey with you. You know, for some of you with regards to relationships, there's maybe a little bit of a sense of limbo going on. Maybe you're looking for a fresh start or somebody else is, but you're taking the time to really contemplate what's right for you. And I think that there is a need in retrograde season to really allow ourselves to move into that deeply spiritual, quiet kind of serenity, so that we can actually hear what our heart is telling us, what our higher self is telling us. And there's something as well about the kind of the cleaning out, the cleansing. You know, that Three of Swords coming through is a beautiful wave of cleansing energy for me. And I think if you allow it to happen, what's going to occur for you is like coming back into union powerfully with yourself, and that means that you're going to be much more anchored and grounded and ready to deal with whatever else is going on around you, whether that be family related or in relationships. But you know, if you're not taking the time to kind of see what's being highlighted for you, and then you get swept up in other people's stuff, I think it could just make you feel that you are far more restricted than actually what is really going on. Okay, so you just need to be really picky and really mindful about the signs and the intuitive guidance of when you need to step back. That's kind of what I want to say. Queen of Swords coming through. You know, this month I kind of feel like she's a bit of a thorn in your side. Now, could be a he, doesn't necessarily need to be female, but for me, this energy is representative of somebody that is causing you stress, that does make you feel in limbo, that is the kind of trigger point, if you like. And so in some ways, maybe we want to thank them, because actually I think what they're going to do is really highlight to you the type of energy, the type of emotional feeling, the sort of way of thinking that you just you can't tolerate anymore, you don't want, you're not prepared to move back into. Okay, so where she shows up, I think it's coming in as a bit of a uncomfortable energy, but what I see you doing is taking time to evaluate what it means to you, and then making kind of the necessary adjustments to either move away, to clear out, or to be very kind of direct in what you need at this time, what you're feeling, what you're thinking, right? There is this kind of element of very truthful conversations. I always think Queen of Swords is coming forward very directly. Three of Swords is coming through with kind of everything out on the table. But in retrograde season, there's just this sort of slight haze around it. So what I'm going to say is, like, there's a tendency for conversations to feel truthful on your part, and then it's almost like the other person just hears a completely different narrative. And that, I think, could be quite frustrating for you, Sagittarius. I just kept getting this idea through your reading that you're like, where you felt like you've been helping someone or perhaps a group of people or family member for a long time, and it just feels like it's not getting in, or it's not being received, or it's not being appreciated. And you know, I do think there's this moment in March where you're kind of like, wow, like there's just nothing more I have to offer here, there's nothing more I can give. And you know, that is going to be perhaps a tough moment that you come to when you realize, you know, maybe I have to let go here. But as soon as you do, I think you're going to step into an energy that understands what has been held back and where you can now direct that. Okay, you've got a beautiful card coming through of the butterfly, and the note here is the soul. I think you are ready for this metamorphosis, this change. I think there are people around you kind of wanting to draw in towards your energy. You are kind of hiding half of your face here, so you know, I just do think there is this sort of need for a little bit of retreat, just so that you can protect your energy, just so that you're figuring out, who am I, what do I want, where am I at? I need to surround myself with beauty right now, things that feel good to me. Remember, in Aries season, 5th house, it is about the way that you harmonize your world, you know. And I think, you know, if you can find the time to kind of move into those things that just light you up, and that might not be with people, you know, not that you're not connecting this month, but I just think you might find more solace in nature, in animals, in kind of revamping your wardrobe, revamping your home, you know, moving into doing some kind of hobby or passion that's very creative and interesting and experimental. And there's just this need for kind of that much more free thinking, liberated kind of vibe around you. So anybody that feels this heavy blocking way is just not going to be vibing with you at all through this month, is what I feel. Again, that butterfly energy linking in perhaps to a Gemini. You know, we do have Queen of Swords, could be a Libra, Aquarius, but certainly a Gemini is coming up quite strong in this reading, so that might be significant for some of you with regards to this. I do think if you've got a focus around your work or business at the moment, Sagittarius, you, oh beautiful, Rainbow Dragon, you are set to see some incredible synchronicity, ideas and inspiration flow. I want you to be completely unafraid of putting forward some really out there ideas, and I don't think you need to receive the validation. If your instinct is telling you this is going to work, I think you need to be very exploratory in moving that forward through this month of March. Let other people deal with their stuff and whatever it is that's going on for them. What I see for your energy is be protective of it. Be protective of your thoughts and ideas until they're fully formed or feeling super aligned within your own energy. There's a beautiful sense of synchronicity that I see coming through for you. I think you're set to stumble upon just like something unique, you know, that's what I feel for some of you. There's something going on about discovering a hidden gem, discovering something that maybe is ahead of the curve, or, you know, very innovative from a thought leadership perspective. And I think that in order to receive that download of information, it's almost like you kind of need to shut out the noise of what anyone else has going on. You've definitely got some heavy hanger-oners this month is what I want to say. So be discerning in that, Sagittarius. Okay, so I hope this has given you some insight for the month of March. If you've enjoyed, please do drop me a like or comment. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I'm going ahead and pull us some cards for the extended reading right now. What I would like you to do is just think of a question, a key specific question that you have. Maybe we've not covered it in the cards, or it's in a different area, and we'll go ahead and pull a couple and cover it off completely in the extended. So if you think about that question right now, and if you want to join me, we will explore that. Love that card of the Rainbow Dragon. It's so beautiful. I think you're set to have some powerful moments of realizing like just how special you are this month of March and how many people rely on you, Sagittarius. It should do you some good. It's just making your boundaries clear with it though. All right, so let's pull some clarifying cards for your main reading here. So card of Death, bringing in Queen of Wands, which absolutely could represent you, I feel. Possibly another fire sign, a Leo or an Aries. Six of Wands, beautiful. You're just ready to step out, aren't you? There's something that you want to share, someone that you want to connect with. You want to be your true self, revealed to the world. The Sun, Three of Swords. You see, I do feel like that Three of Swords doesn't feel heavy and gut-wrenching. Oh, I'm dropping cards here. It feels really cathartic and cleansing, and allowing you to step forward into something, Hanged Man, much more aligned with your new energy imprint, your new energy signature. Queen of Pentacles, lovely. I think you are going to be quite focused, probably working behind the scenes a little bit, just getting on with stuff quietly a little bit in March. That's going to serve you well, that kind of energy. Seven of Pentacles, yeah. A lot of diligence, a lot of consistency. Some new job opportunities coming your way. Eight of Wands. A lot of communication coming in, news and messages to get things moving. Even though we've got Hanged Man, again, I don't want you to feel like you're not seeing the progress. You just can't maybe see the full picture. Six of Pentacles. Yeah, you see, this is where I think you've been giving too much. This is looking favorable for those of you that are really wanting a insight around finances and stability. I think there's going to be some real breakthroughs for you. Breakthroughs when you show up, when you step up continuously. Even if you feel there's no one there, no one listening. People are listening, Sagittarius. They are watching. They are moving closer. Okay. Put one more for that Ten of Swords. All the Pentacles today, Sagittarius. You've got a lot on your mind about making sure you're going to be feeling more secure, putting the work and the investment in. 10 of Wands with that Rainbow Dragon. Let's pull one more with that, because I feel like that's the journey you've been on. This Rainbow Dragon is the what is about to come in. Yeah, star, beautiful. Okay, if you'd like to join me, we'll pull out some more messages in the extended reading. Thank you so much. I look forward to connecting with you again next month, and appreciate you tuning into the channel. Bye for now.